Hello, welcome. My name is Gros and I write books. I meditate. I roam the forest with our dogs. I give lectures, I give talks, I give seminars, and when I find the time I also like to make some music. The main topics both of my life and my work are meditation, mysticism and mythology, and something I would like to call the art of living a deeply human life. And yes, I feel very honored that my book about a mysticism of everyday life is now published in South Korea. And I'm happy about the question I get to answer in this video. And just one thing before we start with the other questions. English is not my native language, but I will try my best to avoid any grammatical confusion. The book is my attempt to make visible the wonders or miracles of everyday life, to show the beauty and grace that's always around us, but we unfortunately don't see. And for me, the secret of life is not about special, spectacular experiences, but rather everyday moments, like sharing silence with a friend or watching the birds in our garden, talking to a stranger and find some common ground, or when one of our dogs lay his head down on my knee and trust me completely. Things like that. I like to talk about a spirituality of small things. And these small things, in my opinion, shape our lives much more than so-called peak experiences. My goal was to convey the magic of these small things, to take a really deep, mystical view at the world and share that with the readers. Mysticism is a spiritual path of experience that leads us into the sacredness of each moment. It is not so much about adopting a theory, following a thought construct, or speaking a creed. Much more it is about being truly touched by the sacredness of the moment and entering into a real relationship with that sacred. And this is the reason why I don't like the English term mysticism at all. Because a mystical approach has really nothing to do with an ism. It's not about dogma and not a construct. It's about your own experience, your own feeling about this sacredness. In almost every religion there were and are mystical currents, mystical streams. But they often have to stay or had to stay in the underground because they often undermined the religious authorities of their time. Just simple by their emphasis on their own experience. And there were and are Buddhist mystics, Christian mystics, Jewish mystics, Hindu mystics, Muslim mystics, nature religion mystics. But the essence of what they think, what they feel, what they experience has no name. This silence at the heart of mysticism is a place, a space, where all your labels of your religion, of your tradition are falling away. And all that remains is that. You know, that was capital letters. That which is everything about. And for me personally, the nameless mysticism that I try to live and I try to teach is a path of freedom, a path to freedom. I can free the person that I am. I'm feeling the sacredness of the world, the wonders of this world, with every breath and every heartbeat. And I know deep within myself that I'm also one of these miracles, one of these wonders, like you and like every other being. Sometimes it may seem that way because a mystic is often imagined as a person who lives somewhere in a cave, focused on growing a long white beard and so on. And the Greek word for mystic or mysticism is myein, which literally means to close your eyes. And therefore I think people guess that mysticism is some escape from the world, turning away from the world. But it's not like that. The true mystic opens his or her eyes again. That's the point. He or she may keep them closed for a while to focus on the inner world, focus on the own experience and meditate in silence, and not to be washed away by the opinions, the theories or ideas of the outer world. But it's about an encountering of the world, an encountering of the sacred, which is one, in an unaffected and unprotected way, in a sense, completely naked. It's about a deep relationship with the world and with the opening of the eyes, the real opening of the eyes for the sacred, seeing the world in a new way. And wherever the mystic looks, he or she sees the miracle in everything. And when you see that everyday life is something very sacred, something permeated by a fundamental magic, every action can be a prayer, and every moment whispers, thank you. And by the way, that is the best prayer you can speak, thank you. It's very simple and very true. For me, it is falling in love with the world and life in general, over and over again. And in that way, mysticism for me is a spirituality that is really turned towards world and everyday life. This expression, spiritual serial killer, comes from one of my teachers, a real friend and a great guy whom I quote in the book. Many years ago, when he sensed how much I was beginning to free my mind from the limitations of my mind itself, he showed me with that expression how much I'm allowed to leave behind. He said, if I wanted to continue my journey into freedom, I have to commit 4 murders. I would have to kill my ego, I would have to kill my father, my guru, and ultimately I have to kill God. Maybe that sounds a little bit strange or drastic, of course, but what it means is, on the path of mysticism, we have to leave our ego behind, we have to kill our ego in a way of abandoning the constant repetition of the me, my. And we leave behind the roles and masks that we thought we had to wear for such a long time, the false identifications. And then we kill our father, which does not mean our biological father, but the demands and false securities of our society, of our tradition. We question our tradition and we take full responsibility of our own path. And closely related to these things is our third murder, the killing of our guru. We cannot rely on anyone to answer all our questions, and even the best guru cannot walk the path for us. We ourselves must put one step in front of the other. Finally, the fourth murder is the murder of God. And that means that we let go our notions, our ideas, our concepts and theories about God. Meister Eckhart, a famous German mystic of the 14th century, once said, "I pray daily to God to rid me of God." And what he means is that he wants to get rid of his ideas about God that stands in the way of a real encounter of God. And in Zen, there is a similar phrase, maybe you know it. When you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. That doesn't mean to kill the Buddha, but it means to kill, to let go your ideas about enlightenment, your ideas about the experience of the Buddha, because you could lose the contact to your own experience when you worship the experience of the Buddha too much. Leaving all that behind, letting all that go, sets us free. We can explore our own path, we can discover our own love story with the world, with the universe. And of course, there are good teachers out there and you can learn a lot from them. But like I said before, they cannot walk the path for you. You have to do it by your own. You have to be your own teacher in some ways. We have to shape the way as we walk it and explore it. Let our own experience flow into our path. Otherwise, we would take away our uniqueness from the world, and that is really a pity, I think. We are all small, colorful stones in a big, colorful mosaic. And when we try to look the same like the stones around us, the whole mosaic is less colorful. And I believe that the whole creation is a colorful celebration. And we are part of that. We are part of that miracle. We are a miracle. We are creation. We are a miracle of creation. And we bring our own color into the fabric of the world. That's our purpose, I think. And you are a miracle. That's the truth. A good teacher will always encourage you to follow your own path. He or she doesn't need students hanging on his lips, believing every word he or she says. What a good teacher wants is you to stand on your own feet. And I was very lucky to have great teachers like that. And I learned a lot from them. I'm very, very grateful for that. And today they are my friends and we learn from each other now. And learning itself is not over. It's always a process in this life, in this world, to learn. But I'm fully responsible for this process now, like you are. When I talk in my lectures or courses about meditation as a lifelong process, not everyone likes that. Because there are many people in this world who want an instant solution for their problems, for their difficulties. But the truth is, there is no such thing. In the same way, there is no pill that makes you instantly a top athlete. There's just training, to practice things, to try out, and to repeat what works. And very important, don't forget to have fun while doing that. And I am convinced that only what we really enjoy, we can establish a lifelong practice. And this applies to sport and also to meditation. Just as we train our bodies, we can train our minds. And we train ourselves in an attitude or better, a mindset or a soul set of allowing us to face problems and difficulties in a different way. There will always be difficulties. There will always happen something that you don't like. Change will happen. That is the nature of this world, and you can damn it, you can curse it, but it is like it is. We have little or no influence on many things, but we have influence on how we deal with that, what happens. In our minds, how much I get angry when something goes wrong. When I try to make a video, for example. How much I get carried away by anger, frustration or jealousy. How well do I cope with loss? Really, none of us is perfect at these challenges. But a regular meditation practice, among many other benefits, can help us stay calmer overall and act more from compassion and love than to just react from emotions running high. What takes us out of the present moment is mostly our thoughts, either wallow in the past or concern about the future. And when our thoughts seem to be in the present moment, they evaluating what is happening now, and usually based on parameters that we already know. And this is why meditation is such a valuable tool, because it allows us to quiet our thoughts and simply notice the present moment. For me, living in the now means, above all, simply perceiving. Open the doors of perception. That is surrender, letting the moment be as it is, letting go my ideas about this moment and just see and feel and sense the moment. To see life as a river is a good image for this kind of surrender. Sometimes the river flows fast, sometimes it's slow, sometimes the water is clear and sometimes muddy, but yet it is one river, and we can entrust ourselves to it at any time, in its pace, in its way, and we can be sure that this river will carry us to the sea. By the way, this does not mean that we should not care for more justice in our society, or that we should not care for the protection of the environment. If we have opportunities to influence, we should gladly use them. The image of the river is more about the great flow of our life, the great general flow of our life. The things we can't control, like our own aging, losses, certain threshold transitions in life that we all experience and we all need to experience, because these things make us human. I don't have any first-hand insights of the Korean society, but I spoke to a few people from South Korea and they told me about the pressure they feel. Pressure from social expectations, expectations from their parents and so on. But for me, perfection is only an idea, and an idea that can almost never become reality. And if you really want to have an unhappy life, the best way is to focus on something impossible. You know what I mean? I think it might be helpful to watch yourself with compassion as well, and to open yourself to the possibility that real beauty lies in imperfection. Let's take a very simple example. If I had a choice between a high-tech desk made of pure white plastic, perfectly curved shapes from the best AI-driven 3D printer in the world, or a desk made of old wood with grains and patina, put together by a real human with love and craftsmanship, I would always choose the latter. This wooden desk may never reach the perfection that the white desk has, but it is in a way more real, more alive. Or let's look at a forest. The trees, they are not lined up like soldiers. They are not all the same size either. Some are tall, some are small, some are thin, some are thick. But because the variety of all the trees in the forest, there is beauty. The imperfection is beauty. And so is yours. Our mistakes and weaknesses also make us something unique and truly alive. Our wrinkles, our scars tell part of our story. And our failures lead us to get to know ourselves better. And often, even the supposedly wrong decisions ultimately lead to something good. We all know that when we look back in our lives, and we can say, yes, I took a wrong turn there. I took a wrong turn, but in the end, it led me to an extremely valuable learning process that I might otherwise not have, not experienced. Or to put it in another way, our imperfect lives allow us to mature in terms of character. In this way, we grow into a real being, a real human that can approach others with warmth, with compassion, and with heartiness. I think many people share this feeling or are haunted by a certain hopelessness every then and now. They ask themselves, what can I do? What can I as an individual, as a single human being, change in this world? I believe that a mystical view of the world, however, gives us many possibilities to change or for action. As I said, mysticism is, among other things, the art of falling in love with the world and the life itself at every new day, again and again. We see the world and our lives with different eyes. We can see the beauty, the sacredness and the dignity in everything, including ourselves. We see the incredible miracle of life in a little bird that comes to visit us on the windowsill in the morning. We see the miracle of an old tree that grows in the middle of the city. And we see the miracle in every person we meet, including the person we meet every morning in the mirror, in your bathroom. And I'm sure that this inner attitude radiate outwards. Basic friendliness grows, draws wider circles, like a stone that you throw in a pond. There are circles of friendliness going out into the world and touching other beings. And that's a good thing. And that's a change in the world that you and everyone can do. And the result of this friendliness often is, for me, I experience that animals have less fear of you and people easily open their heart for you and tell you their story and let them be touched and touch you. And maybe you want to give it a try. Tomorrow in the morning when you get into your bathroom and look into the mirror, maybe you can watch yourself with warmth and friendliness and be kind and compassionate to yourself. I have been meditating on this path of mysticism for almost 30 years now. And I feel every day that the more I open to the world, the more it opens to me. And that's a miracle itself. The more I acknowledge the value of life, the more I can appreciate myself and my small contribution. And maybe it's the same for you. When you see yourself in a different way, you can see your actions in a different way, and you can see that little things have value. Even though they are little, they have value. Such appreciation has another effect. We become independent of other people's opinion about us. We free ourselves from social expectations, and In short, we no longer have to play every game. We don't have to consume endlessly to feel worthy or valuable. We don't have to have more than others to feel rich. We don't have to become more beautiful, smarter, slimmer to feel good about ourselves. Many of the strange demands that this world gives to us are not our own demands. And we just don't go along with it anymore. We are independent, we are free. This takes a great burden off us. Maybe you can imagine that. And it frees our action. And we can do things that others would not do because they think it's embarrassing, it's inappropriate, it's not adequate. We can reach out while others would rather look away. We can go to places others avoid because they are afraid to make their hands dirty. We can talk to people who are ignored by others because they don't seem to fit in their social class or something else. In short, we can turn to life much more freely and do what we have identified as a right thing to do. As I said before, for me there is a big difference between acting and reacting. Acting arises from freedom, from free decisions, and reacting is always a sign of an inner lack of freedom, of an inner lack of independence, and is always determined by circumstances. And this freedom is also a very important contribution to our world. It's a contribution to our own happiness, and therefore it's a contribution to the happiness of the world, because every little happiness strengthens the happiness of the world, the amount of happiness, if you like. And it gives us a feeling of living our lives by ourselves and not simply being lived. And maybe the next time when you feel really happy, maybe you can think about that the whole world is now a bit more happier. And one more thing is very important to me in this context. Also in global terms, a mystical worldview is very helpful, I think. I believe that we as humans better protect what we really love. Therefore, a way of falling in love with the world is also a good path in an ecological way. If we remind each other that we are living in a huge miracle, that we are surrounded by miracles, and that we ourselves are miracles, we can build a better world. And this is really my hope. First of all, if your heart is broken right now, I feel very, very sorry for you. These feelings really can be overwhelming, and I wish you a lot of strength for this difficult time, and I hope that your heart heals soon. My advice for this time would be to become very aware of the many miracles I just spoke about in this video. Meet these wonders with a meditative mind. Be open for that and take in all the beauty, all the grace that this world has to offer. Direct your love, which may have experienced rejection, to the whole world. Look at the little beetle on your hand, full of affection. Appreciate the trees for providing oxygen for you. Delight in the kindness of the cat from your neighbor's house. Let all this work within you, let it flow within you, and become aware that all beings of this world are in some way your brothers and sisters. They are here for you. You're not alone. You are a part of a wonderful, big family. You are embraced by the love of the universe, the love of this world, the beauty and grace and the dignity of this world. And you may not always feel like that, but you are. Believe me, you are. Anchor this happiness very deeply in yourself and create little rituals for yourself, like greeting yourself very friendly in the mirror in the morning. Celebrate your happiness, maybe with drawing, maybe with journaling, or writing poems for the clouds, for the mountains, for something that you really like, that really opens your heart, that is really something that you love and that you want to embrace. Whatever it is, it will celebrate the miracle of this world, and it will celebrate the miracle of yourself. And let this feeling of boundless connectedness fill you up. Just breathe it in, breathe it out, breathe the love in, breathe the love out, and walk this path for a while without a partner. And I'm absolutely sure that your happiness will attract the right person that will share this happiness with you. So I thank you for your questions. I really appreciate that. I hope I will see you soon somewhere on your path. And maybe we'll meet, and I will be very happy about that. And by the way, I met my own imperfections too in making this video, doing it in English, in front of a camera in a foreign language. It was really hard for me, and I'm with you on this path of imperfection that leads to beauty and grace and forgiveness for myself and compassion with myself. Thank you.